Welcome to episode 51 of the Travel Calumet Original Podcast. I'm your host, Rick Sense, and joining me for today's episode are Mike Pichee and Terry Friederichs from the Calumet County Historical Society, and they are here to talk about the Calumet County Historical Society's special event that's taking place on June 8th from 1 to 4 p.m. Could you guys kind of weigh in and tell me what that special event is? Terry?
It's an idea Mike came up with. You'd be surprised how many people have never been at the museum. They come out and they say, "Oh, I've been meaning to come here for years," and they spend 2 hours, not only looking but talking. That's one of the charms of working on a Sunday. People will stop and start talking about this and reminiscing.
We picked June 8th as the second Sunday of the year that we're open, and it was just a good opportunity. Usually nice weather. Most of what we're doing is outside, and then we're inviting other people to come to exhibit stuff, and we'll go through the list. But it was a good opportunity just to kick the year off, and get it started strong. And we were really surprised. First year without any real big blueprint as far as what was going to happen. It was pretty successful. We had a lot more people there than we were expecting.
Okay, so now it's June 8th, and it's from 1 to 4 p.m. on Sunday.
Correct.
I'll start off with the big elephant in the room. What about weather? Is that going to impact your event?
It can. We'll still be there. We'll still
Okay.
be open, but our buildings are quite full, so there's just not room to have all the guests come. We're having a Model A club come out. Well, if it's raining, I suspect that will be pretty thin. So we'll be there. Everybody is still welcome, but as far as what we'll have available is questionable.
All right, so we got that out of the way, and it's a bright, beautiful, sunny day that day. So that's I'm looking forward to that, and I'm going to be there, folks. So it should be an interesting event for sure. So maybe if I could ask you, Mike, what exactly is the event going to entail for people that would attend?
Well, we're always, every year's a little different. We're always looking for different things that are Calumet County historically related for the most part. This year we're having the Nicolay Ford Model A Club come down from the valley. They're going to have just a bunch of beautiful cars there, that they're real proud of. I think they actually visited us one Sunday a while back, and it was out of the blue, just really cool to see all these cars in our parking lot and stuff like that. Stockbridge Public Schools is celebrating their 150th anniversary as a public school. They will be there with I haven't seen it, but from what I'm being told, just a beautiful display of yearbooks and uniforms and different things related to being a school for that long.
So the yearbooks. Okay, so if you have lost your yearbooks or they got lost somehow along the way, this is a chance for you to come back and relive those memories and go through. You said almost every class's yearbook will be on display.
Well, I don't know about that, but
okay.
We have some. We have historically been a society that just had stuff, so a lot of stuff's from the past. We're doing better at collecting data like yearbooks and stuff like that. We are nowhere near a research center or anything like that. We're happy to help if we can. But as we, through the years, we've gotten better and better at that. So someday, hopefully, we will be able to do that kind of thing.
And then there's a few other things that are taking place. Terry, Mike, you want to walk us through those as well?
Well, Alex Steinig he sold pumps, and he had the John Deere dealership here in town some years ago. I'm not even sure of the date, but he had an old 1949 Dodge wagon that he used in the pump business. I was up at Iola Car Show a couple of years ago, and it's been beautifully restored by Craig out of the valley. So some people may recognize it from back in the day, so it's just, when Craig bought it, it was just a mess. It was nothing like what it is today, and he stuck a lot of time and energy into it, and it's just beautiful.
So real labor of love restoring it, and yeah.
As it is probably with a lot of the Model A's, it'll be there as well.
Mm-hmm. Cool, okay. And then Wes Kempen and his family's going to be there?
What are
they doing?
They live just on the north end of Calumet County, and they collect snowcats, and among other things, snowmobiles and different things. They always bring out a couple pieces of equipment, and it's just great to see. It's just the machines that they would use probably, I'm guessing 30s, 40s, 50s to plow snowmobile trails in the woods and stuff like that. So it's big, heavy machine.
Very, very unique equipment.
Yeah. It's got, I think, one pedal or two pedals, a clutch and a gas pedal, because there's no need for brakes because you're in the middle of nowhere with a big plow behind you. Just really cool, and they run. His stuff runs, so he drive. First year we didn't know he was coming, and drove it off the trailer, and was like, "What is that noise?" It was because they're track driven. So, pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff.
And then there's going to be a blacksmith?
Yeah, he won't be doing a live demonstration
Okay.
because Eugene has been around for a long time. He's at the county fair. He's been at Pinecrest in Menasha for a long time. He'll be there with his tools just to answer any questions or anything like that. Just usually when he's actually working with hot coals and stuff, he doesn't have time to sit down and talk about things because he's got a lot going on. So it's just a good opportunity to meet him. Just a super nice guy. He can talk about the history of blacksmithing as far as the technique, and then in the building we actually have some blacksmithing equipment too that's going to be right near where he's sitting on the outside. So,
And then you're going to have an author there as well?
Joan is a local. She is a PhD, and she wrote I think a number of books. I could be wrong there, but the current book is The Population Shift from Western Bohemia to Calumet County, and she has a draw there. Whenever she's been out, wherever she's at, there's 10 people around here because she just has so much knowledge about the history and migration to our area and stuff like that, and just does a great job with that.
So if you want to come and meet Joan Naomi Steiner, that's an opportunity. She'll be talking with people and signing your book if you have it available?
She'll have books available.
Okay.
So it's actually it does real well with it. Whenever I see her, there's a bunch of people around her, so it's great to see.
So you have the open house and last year's event. What kind of things did people bring to share? You mentioned Wes and what he brought, but what other things did people bring that you might anticipate happening again this year?
Well, I think the lineup is probably the most of it. There's always a surprise. In years past, we had somebody that was spinning wool. That probably will not happen today. Mostly, it's just an opportunity for people to sit around and talk. Look at different things. We do have Todd from Jericho that just has an enormous amount of Jericho history. That he brings. And stuff, and people will talk about things, and I think there's a lot of learning that goes back and forth. And same with the St. Nazianz Historical Society. They are just it's a small group, but just a very outstanding information available in that part of they're actually in Manitowoc County, but it drifts pretty close to that side of Calumet County.
So, Mike, I have to ask, how did you get involved with the Calumet County Historical Society?
Stopped by one day. And it was like, boy, this is pretty cool because it's hard to imagine until you come and see, what we have. It's the society, the first building we have has been around since like late 60s, 69, somewhere in that area. And then the collection actually started some years before that when Dr. Kafunda was a veterinarian in the area, and he'd just look at something and say, looks like you're done with that. Can I have that? And we still have that stuff. And there's actually pictures of him from the 70s with, an item that, was that he had from that era. So just a lot of cool stuff. And I like to say it's always, you're basically looking at stuff from hardworking people that they needed to live. And, we've got old phones on the wall that was great technology at the time, and now we walk around with these things. So it's just kind of cool to get a sense of that.
And Terry, why did you get involved with the Historical Society? How did you get involved with
I wonder myself.
Okay.
It's been a long time. I've been involved since the 90s.
Okay. And do you enjoy it? It's something that you find entertaining, relaxing,
It
fun,
is.
challenging?
It's more of a challenge, constantly more of a challenge, but
Especially
again,
since I came along.
we're at capacity,
Okay.
so we really have to be careful what we can accept as donations.
So you're actually in possibly turning things away just because the room's not there? Is that maybe
Well,
part of
that,
it,
and a
or-
lot of times we'll already have something like it.
Okay.
So it's really difficult for us, and we really do want to see like a Calumet County connection, because we're not an antique store, and I think years ago sometimes it was just if it was old and cool, it was accepted.
Mm-hmm.
We have to get away from that, so we're never saying no, just like we're not accepting things, but we really want the Calumet County's story, the associated with the object and stuff like that. But if it's big and has to sit on the floor, we have to really think about it.
Yeah. So if I'm gonna, maybe I'll pick up the phone and call you, and I have an item that's of interest to you. What would you ask me to do to present it to you? I mean, like, would you want me to give you the oral history of it? How would someone do that?
That'd be perfect. I mean,
The best items are those that have a story behind them.
Can you give me an example of one item that has a story that people can see?
oh, I think if like a Letterman's jacket or something like that, where who who it was and stuff like that.
Military uniforms, we got some good stories there.
We're also changing some things that every winter we seem to make some changes, and we have a flag from late 1800s was when Montana came into the states and into the United States, and so I may be wrong on the number, but I think it's
47?
like a 47.
I think
star,
47
yeah.
star flag. Yeah, those are very rare. There was like a week is all it was out in.
It's not that one. It's not that
Oh,
one because
okay.
it was out for about 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
but
It's one before the state before that.
Yeah,
because they were like right on top of each other.
and
That's right.
that by itself is cool. We believe it was found at the Central House back when it was still a hotel and stored there for years, and then came to us before either one of our time. And we got a grant from a local family, and we're not able to restore it because the costs on that are just phenomenal. But we were able to basically encase it, frame it, display it better, and then we're putting a lot of our military uniforms in front of that. And what's really cool is when we know who, there's some items we don't know anything about just through time, but when we know who wore that uniform, that's pretty cool.
So it's a great opportunity to honor those that have served. And is this I'm assuming it's geared towards family? It's
Absolutely.
all ages are welcome to attend.
Yep, I should probably let off with this, but it's absolutely free. There's no cost for that, or of course when we're open during the summer, which is Sundays 1 to 4. Families are there all the time. It's a good opportunity to bring grandpa and grandma along because they probably have stories about just about everything they walk past.
We do have some teachers that will bring a class through.
Okay. So if somebody wanted to see something during the course of a week, they could make an appointment.
Yep.
Possibly?
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely.
All right. You did last year's. Can I ask about how many people came to that event? A couple thousand?
No. Few hundred.
Okay.
I don't know the number off.
So we have a number to shoot for there.
That's
couple
right.
thousand.
It is
Okay.
going up every year.
Yeah,
It
good.
has gone up every year. I would be scared to death. I don't think we could park a couple thousand people.
Okay,
But
okay.
we have the Boy Scouts parking cars, and it's a good fundraiser for them. And so everything's pretty organized, and people are coming and going all day. And we don't have food or anything like that, but we are having a homemade pie there that you can make a donation towards. We're not charging for it. And it's just kind of fun to see people sitting down, eating their pie in one of the buildings with a bunch of people just talking about something they're looking at. So it's kind of that kind of event.
I'll ask you guys each what your favorite thing that you have in the collection is right now. I'll start with Mike since Terry gave me a look of I don't know what that would be. So Mike, I'll let you go first.
It varies from day to day, but I think one of the cooler things we have is it's basically an old log puller. It's a fairly big apparatus, and some people remember this as sitting outside under the grandstand for years. And they would basically roll this thing up with horse-drawn, roll this thing up over a stone or a log, wrap chains around it, and use the leverage of a pulley type system to lift it up so they can get it off the field without tearing it up. And I think dynamite came along and probably made that thing less necessary. But and I look at that and at the time, I bet you people looked at that as just being this great use of technology. Like, look what we can do now. It took so many less people, and I look at that as boy, that is a backache. There's got to be a better way. So it's just fun to think about something that old. and still being able to touch it.
Terry, what's yours?
I think a collection that one of our members put together. It starts with a map of the county and shows all of the one-room schoolhouses
Okay.
and their location, of course. But then we've got numerous photos of those schools.
Very, very cool. All period, yeah,
Yes.
from all different
Yep.
years.
And he also went on and like, what's the disposition of it now? Is it a house? Is it tore down? And it's ongoing. There's always new information that's popping up, and that's actually a very popular thing for people just to hang around with for a long time and go through.
So what's next beyond the event? I know that you have regular hours throughout the year. You want to just share that with people, and then what is on the agenda horizon for the County Historical Society, Calumet County Historical Society?
Yeah, we're open June through September, Sundays 1 to 4. Free admission. We certainly would appreciate at-door donations, but there's nothing expected. We got some funding available, so we are going to be building a climate-controlled building real soon. I hesitate to put timetables on it, but it's moving forward. So that'll be something for sure. Next year will be new. And then we're constantly changing and updating. Like a year ago, I probably wouldn't have thought that we'd be working on the log cabin's wood floor, and one of our board members' family stepped up, and in the course of one day, they did put a brand new wood floor in our log cabin, and it just changed the whole building. So maybe we do something more with that now that we have something, so much cooler than what it was.
And you mentioned the log cabin, and we haven't talked about it yet. Can you maybe just give listeners a little bit of background on the log cabin? So I know you see it when
Yep.
I drive near there, but
Yep.
if you...
It was originally placed out. It was original to the Brilliant area, and actually one of our board members' sisters, she has actually got some history on it that we haven't seen yet, because she does a little genealogy and stuff. The cabin is actually related to their family, so she's got a lot of genealogy stuff, and she's got a lot of research that she's put together for us. So I'm going to have to beg to put that off a little bit, but it'll be on our website.
Okay.
Which is, if you take a look at our website too, there's a lot of information out there, and just about everything as time allows that we know we put out there.
So to get the answer to that cliffhanger, you have to go to the website. And how do people get out to the website in the future? I don't want to put them on the spot today. And how do you get out to the website?
Calumet County Historical Society.org.
Okay.
We could not find a longer name.
Okay.
But if you go in there, we've got articles. Probably one of the coolest things I think that are out there is it's the old Chilton film from 1938. It was, I thought, unique, but actually there's other communities that have something similar. Basically, a film crew came in from Hollywood for a week, and with their silent film, were just filming everyday activity in and around Chilton, including Jericho and Hayton and different things. It's about an hour and a half, and it's just really cool. It's just really cool.
It is cool. I always find those very interesting. It's a real good snapshot of a daily life back then, right?
They did dress up a little bit more than they probably would have because they were prompted to do that, but it was real life. It was real life.
All right, so again, listeners, make sure you're in town here in Chilton at Calumet County Historical Society's open house. The museum will be open. There'll be additional people there showing off some really interesting and cool things. And it runs from 1 to 4. And again, it's free admission. Parking's readily available, and you're going to have some prepared Boy Scouts to help you with that. So you shouldn't have to worry about that. I really appreciate both you and Terry and Mike coming in today and being with us and giving listeners a little bit of a background on that. What's going on out there on June 8th. And listeners, thanks for tuning in to episode number 51. Please make sure you check out the other 50 episodes of the Travel Calumet Original Podcast by clicking on the microphone on the homepage of the travelcalumet.com homepage. And if you liked what you heard today or on previous episodes, please help us spread the word by inviting a couple of friends to listen to the Travel Calumet Original Podcast as well. Help us spread the news of all the great things taking place here in Calumet County, like the Calumet County Historical Society's open house on June 8th. Thank you for listening, and until next time.